Happening this morning, Orange County leaders are going to sit down and get serious about these out-of-control rent prices. Even if you don't rent, you've certainly heard about it. Prices are up 25% in Orange County since last year. Channel 9's Christy Turner is live outside the county administration building where the meeting starts in about 90 minutes. Christy, one of the things on the table here is rent control.
There is a chance when Orange County commissioners meet here today, they could decide to put a rent control measure on the November ballot. That's something we'll be watching. Renters say it is needed, but not everyone says capping rent is a good idea.
The crisis will only get deeper.
Renters are demanding action. In Orange County, rent jumped roughly 25% last year. However, a recent study says the county situation is a crisis, but not an emergency. Orange County commissioners will meet this morning to come up with solutions to fight the lack of affordable housing.
What we will be discussing is not just about rent control, but also about programs to provide assistance to renters who are struggling.
Some options include potential changes to emergency rental assistance programs and requiring an advance notice of rental increases. Another idea the county is considering to provide renters relief is capping rent hikes at 5% for a year. Some are pushing back.
And I'm concerned about the consequences of capping rents instead of allowing the market to determine pricing.
Those supporting the move say it's necessary.
It is a state of emergency. That part is completely indisputable.
Commissioners have an August deadline if they want to get a rent control referendum on the November ballot. We'll be inside the meeting today and we'll let you know what comes out of it. We'll have an update for you on Eyewitness News at noon. Reporting live in Orange County, Christy Turner, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.